So, as we see with those three rice things, the hypothesis that was to be had is that the love rice would hold its form better and would last longer than the hate rice and even the ignore rice. I had seen videos prior, so I had they where he also did an ignore rice, so it made sense that the rice was yeah, that it wasn't gonna um, do as well either. That being said, though, like with all of that, if the significance of all this, someone might say, well, why the hell does it matter that you yelled at some rice? Like, what does that have to do with anything? The significance isn't in the rice itself, and it wouldn't have made it. It wouldn't have been as significant had you not cooked it. See, the fact that here's the correlation: the water test that I had told you about, where they yelled, they did the same thing but with water, and then they froze it, and then with the rice. What's this? Where's a reoccurring element? Kind of already gave it away right there. Water is a key element. It's very reactive, and that must mean it goes. That's a fascinating analysis or observation, because here's another thing, and this is why we are not like robots, where no matter what someone says to you, it doesn't affect you. Why someone, depending on how someone talks with you, can affect you. Think about it like this: our bodies have a great deal of water in them. In fact, our cells are primarily like blood and things like that have a great deal of water in them. I don't know the exact facts. I know this seems very where's your facts? Where's your hard numbers? But you can look, if you look it up, water is very integral to our survival within our body. So that being said, and also like our skin is not as tough as some people may think they have tough skin. Like, you can feel the rays, like frequencies can flow through you, and that being said, different emotions vibrate at different frequencies, so you can feel those flow through them. So it's not like our skin isn't bulletproof. Like, things like different frequencies can flow through them. So the emotions that someone conveys towards you, anger, hate, love, ignorance, or like they ignore you, neglect, these things have an impact on our lives. And it shows how, so if the rice, if this theory, if people were to think, oh, it doesn't matter how I talk to someone, it shouldn't matter about that, if that were true, then the love rice should have been just as moldy, should have been moldy at all. If you look, there wasn't any mold really, for what it was worth. I mean, it was kind of brown, it was getting old, but that's also because there wasn't any fresh water. Like, that water was stagnant, and that's life, man. If you stay stagnant and you don't move, you don't keep growing, yeah, you do get a little funky. You got to keep moving, you got to keep growing, you got to keep advancing further in your life. So yeah, man, like, I find that fascinating that this worked in the way that it did. It's very cool, baby. It's very it shows how emotions and the way we speak to each other really does have an impact on who we are and how we perceive ourselves. And in fact, like, it shows why it seems silly sometimes for people to like do the self-talk of, you can do it, just keep saying you can do it and you'll make it, kind of thing. But in reality, that has more of an impact than we may think. I will say that, like, when I've been training for my PT test, I'm trying to get 100% in the Air Force PT test, and I was going through the mile and a half, and I will say that there was those moments of struggle, and your body is just your body. It doesn't know, it only does that which the mind tells it, and the mind is affected by its emotions. So for me, it wasn't that I don't have a certain sort of strength, or that I'm not, this, that, and the other. Some people, there is a certain limit to our strength for a time at the moment. For instance, I can't just bench 400 pounds, even if I say I can do it. But within the range of what I can do, I will be able to strive far further with positive reinforcement than negative beratement. Like, you're a loser, you can't do this. You'll feel a great strain. Now, before I get too sidetracked, when I was running my mile and a half, I was continually telling, instead of getting caught up in that negative thinking, because you're getting tired. You got to run a 9:11 to mile and a half. So for me, I was getting winded. Obviously, where was that struggle? But in my mind, there was a lot that went on in my mind. But for all intents and purposes, I was like, don't give up, you can do it. And what it does also is it creates a neurological pathway of sort of confidence through competence. You start to think, okay, why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? You've trained because you've done X, Y, and Z, and you start to recognize it's through your effort, your growth, and this, that, and the other. And so it builds off of one another. And then as you start to see that, then you have more confidence and you start to do more. So there's so much impact on what this stuff can mean. And it's all just seeing a little bit of rice. It shows that this isn't just, the good thoughts aren't just, it doesn't matter, it could go either way. No, man, that just shows that hate and neglect will literally destroy your body. Look at that rice. That rice was decaying, man. And the love rice, man, that rice was jamming still. Still wasn't bad for what it was worth comparatively. So that shows me how much of an impact love really can be, and why love is the truth. It's not just hate. You can go and hate, or you can go and love, and it'll work out either way. Love is for the weak. And I'm like, come now, Pearson, come on now. It shows just how powerful that stuff is. So also, that was the closet that I used. I know it's kind of dark and dingy, but I would often also try to turn the light on. I tried to make things as equal as I could for this, as far as making it as balanced and try to keep it as replicated as possible. And I think it worked. I think I am personally pleased with the results. So give it a try if you want. I did it for a month with those. You could do it with more rice. I did it with a third of a cup, I think, for each one. So I think, though, the proof is in the pudding, though. You could use a pound of rice for each cup. I mean, the point is irrelevant in that regard, I think. Because eventually you hit, I think, like, data saturation. Like, you could have a whole ton of rice for each one. But, and so it's like you eventually hit a point where you can get the same result regardless of how much you keep adding to it. So, anyways, that's what I'll leave you with, friends. And yeah, go try it. Go check it out. See what you think of it for yourself. Because I ain't playing no games, folks. I'll even show you the little thing right here. See, 30 days. You can count them. There's 5 markers, So, and I ate every time I got through one. Anyways, so that's what I got for you. Check it out. And yeah, recognize the power and significance of your emotions and what that can do for you and for others. Okay, I'll see you, friends, and have a blessed day. Peace.